and welcome back to the Socially Isolated College Kids Podcast, your favorite movie podcast. With me today, I have Cameron and Blake. Zach is not here because his computer isn't working, I guess.
He's no longer on the podcast.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Zach
taking over personally the role of Zach.
Yeah, he's no longer on the planet. Either.
He's on kind of with Steve Rogers.
That's right. Zach and Steve Rogers are on the moon
If you don't
together.
get that joke, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, where that is a fun little inside joke that we have.
We're doing Falcon Winter Soldier videos. We did a first and second episode. We skipped it for Easter, then we had technical difficulties. But we will be back with the series wrap-up sometime next week.
So tune in for that.
I guess like Friday, Saturday after this podcast comes out. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Right, Blake? Don't you love doing those, Blake?
Those are my favorite things to do on this YouTube channel for this
Blake,
podcast.
can you name me your favorite character from the TV show?
The hot guy.
Okay. See,
yeah,
I thought you were going to choose either the Falcon or the Winter Soldier, and you chose neither.
Well, both of them are hot.
This is true. See, I was confused because I thought she said the hat guy.
The hat man.
The hat man. I don't really know who that is.
Like the guy in Meet the Robinsons.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie. Or at least it's been a long time.
I love Meet the Robinsons.
We need to watch it.
No, we don't.
Add it to the list. Add it to the wheel. Add it to the wheel.
No.
It's been a long time.
More kids movies.
But anyway, today we are talking about The Trial of the Chicago 7, a Netflix original film in the running for many an Oscar, if I am correct about that.
Quite a few.
I just want to say, before we get into any of our regularly scheduled segments, I watched the Judas and the Black Messiah movie not too long ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and the pairing of these two movies is incredible because basically the main character of Judas and the Black Messiah is Fred Hampton, the leader of the Black Panther Party at the time, or one of the higher ups. And Fred Hampton also shows up in this movie, The Trial of the Chicago 7, and this is history, so I don't know if it really counts as a spoiler, but his death is one of the biggest parts in both of these films. So it was just kind of an interesting... What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. I was holding in a laugh, and it came out at the worst possible.
It really did. That was a terrible time to laugh.
Yeah, so when the infamous leader of the Black Panther organization was assassinated in his own home.
I'm sorry.
Blake, you're a terrible
Blake couldn't
person.
stop laughing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wow, terrible. You're terrible. But I just thought that was a fun little connection. Should we get into everybody's favorite personal section? Everybody craves it. You know, I know that everybody's waiting for their ears to hear the Edison Movie News podcast. No. The Edison Movie News segment.
The Edison Movie News segment.
I'm going to turn it into the whole podcast. Watch you.
Please don't.
I could.
Please don't.
There are a lot of news stories that I skip out on. We could have hours of this.
And that's okay. We don't have to go over everything.
Well, we could, though. So, very early in the week, we got our first look at well, I guess not the first look, because there was a trailer, but we got a new look after a very long time of the new Ghostbusters film with Paul Rudd. And he was running into some little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, little tiny ones.
I didn't watch the trailer, so you're spoiling the movie for me.
Yeah, there's little tiny Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. It's just a little teaser. I'm excited. I love Paul Rudd. I like Ghostbusters. I mean, we really haven't seen that much of it, other than we saw that first trailer. It feels like a year and a half ago at this point. I can't say for sure, but it's been a long time. And so I'm excited that is, coming out soon. LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow is in the running to host Jeopardy after Alex Trebek's death.
Okay.
This is true.
They're looking at a couple hosts. Just the other day, Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers hosted.
What about T-Pain?
Imagine That'd be kind of cool.
It'd be
if
cool.
T-Pain-
I don't think they would let him on the show. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they would because he's a streamer
can't
now.
He is a streamer.
He
That's
does.
why.
And he makes music in his live stream, and sometimes there's actually a really funny clip of I think someone in the chat had like recommended he change something to his song or like added a lyric, and then he did that, and then he was like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever."
That's hilarious.
sick.
It was cool.
Yeah.
The power of collaboration. So, CW's live-action Powerpuff Girls series has begun filming.
Oh god,
Yeah, boo.
I know. I don't know who asked for this.
I don't think anyone did.
I don't know who it's for because the CW makes shows like. I mean, I guess it's for the people that like Riverdale. So, Claudia, if you're listening right now, this one's for you.
Toxic.
Wait, so is it going to
What's
be
that?
like a dark Powerpuff Girls?
Well, it's live action. I don't know about dark, but
But if it,
with the CW track record, I wouldn't count it out.
gosh,
Could happen. I feel like everything that the CW does is like one of those parody videos online, you know, like where you'd see like this is Dora, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a dark Dora film, like trailers
Actually,
and
yeah,
the whole
I know
thing.
exactly what you're talking about. That makes a lot of
And then
sense.
CW takes that right, and then CW takes that idea and like actually makes it into a TV show.
Right.
Like we were kidding, guys. We didn't want this. Anyway, new news for Blake. There's a new Saw film, Saw X, which I guess is the 10th one
Yes,
is in the
sir.
works for you.
Yay. Thank you, Saul.
This is not movie. Yeah, thanks, Saw. You're doing a great job out there cutting people up. I think. I don't know. I've never seen them. What is Saw
yeah,
about?
sure.
Is that what it's about?
Okay, do you want the long answer or the short answer?
No, short answer. is
Short
good.
one.
Short answer. There is this mantle of a serial killer called Jigsaw, and
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. And for a majority of the movies, most of them, all of them actually, they revolve around this group of people going through, for all intents and purposes, a fun house full of death traps.
Yay.
It's supposed to like test the person and like make them want to live, or if they like committed a crime, it's supposed to make them like repent or whatever.
Oh. Well,
Yay.
I don't think I've ever committed any crime, so I'm probably safe from Jigsaw. So this is not exactly movie news, but the Avengers Campus has been, or I guess will open on June 4th in Disneyland, which is exciting because I love Disneyland and World, and I would very
Disney.
much like to go. You guys seen that Spider-Man ride?
No.
No.
So basically, they're making a Spider-Man ride, and they've got I think it's an animatronic, I guess is the right way to put it, but it flips through the air. Like, it quite literally will go like 30, 40 feet in the air and do flips and stuff.
Dude.
There's some behind-the-scenes footage of them, like, training it how to do it. It's insane. Definitely
I think
check it
it's
out.
I think
Yeah,
it's just going to be a person.
No, it's an animatronic. It's literally an animatronic. It's a robot. It's really crazy. Check out the video.
Is it like
Whenever
Five
you're
Nights
going.
at Freddy's where they shuff him into a metal body?
Yes, and then he does flips.
Okay, I see.
Just like in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mhm.
Hotel Transformania, which is a Hotel Transylvania movie. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm just now getting. I wrote it down. So it's spelled TRANSFORMANIA, right? Transform, like Transformers. But I'm just now understanding that it's the fourth one in the series. Transform.
Hate
Anyway,
that.
it's set to release. Yeah, I do too. I'm just now
God.
realizing that. It's set to release July 23rd and be the final film in the franchise.
Thank God. Jesus, it's been so many movies.
Yeah.
One was enough.
The first one was kind of fun,
One was enough.
I thought.
I didn't need
Yeah.
the other
I've
two.
never watched any of them.
I did a long time ago, so I can't say. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge has been cast as the female lead in the newest Indiana Jones movie, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in. I'm not looking this up. This is just from my brain. What is she? She's Fleabag. Yeah.
Oh
What else?
yeah, of course. Yeah, Fleabag. The movie that everyone knows? What's Fleabag?
TV show. It's a TV show.
Never
It's a
heard of it.
Political thing. I'm pretty sure it's a political commentary.
Interesting.
Comedy, I think. but I haven't watched it, and I don't know for sure. But that's off the top of my brain. I didn't look that up. New Star Trek movie's coming out June 2023.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's related to the other, like the New Age ones with Chris Pine.
Mm-hmm.
I like those ones. I wouldn't mind if it was, but I can't say for sure that it is. All right, I got 3 more things. Blue Sky Animation Studios has officially shut down. Blue Sky Animation Studios, for anyone who doesn't know, is the makers of Ice Age, Rio, Robots, and those films.
No, I'm okay with that.
I think that Disney owns it and kind of shut it down because they have animation studios that do very similar things.
And
but it's kind of sad because
better.
those are some classics. Well, Rio's a real good one, and Ice Age is a classic animated film.
I hate the baby in Ice Age.
The Ice Age baby. Oh, man. So, every week brings new Knives Out news, which is so exciting for me because I love this movie so much. But, so the name came out for the second Knives Out movie. It's Knives Out 2, Murder in the Mediterranean. And it will star Daniel Craig in a dual role as Benoit Blanc and his twin brother, Joe Bang Blanc, an incarcerated explosives expert.
What the hell?
And there's a photo of him on set. It's hilarious. He's so funny looking. I'm so excited.
Interesting.
It'll be good. Yeah, and finally, the Oscars kind of came out with who's hosting. Some notable names is Bong Joon-ho, Don Cheadle,
Yes.
Harrison Ford, Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix, Reese Witherspoon, Zendaya, Halle Berry, as well as many others. That's exciting. I'll probably watch the Oscars. It's always a waste of time, and I always watch them. However, that marks the end of the Edison movie news segment.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah,
It's over.
baby! Yeah, I bet you're so excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anybody have anything to say before we move into it?
No.
No, I think we should talk about Penguins of Madagascar when Zach is here.
Yeah, can we talk about that movie? What's the one with, it's Robin Williams and he's got some penguins in his house?
There's one with
I know what you're talking
Jim
about.
Carrey, Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Oh, is that Jim Carrey? I thought it was Robin Williams.
No,
Um,
Jim Carrey. Robin Williams might be in the
Popper's
movie.
Penguins. That
Mr.
is-
Popper's
that is the
Penguins.
movie.
Because there's a book about it too.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember
Classic.
I read the book. I forget what grade it was, but then I remember we watched the movie. I guess Jim Carrey was harassed by the penguins on set, and he had like a lot of bite marks on his knuckles.
Were they
Good.
sued?
That's what he gets.
No,
Yeah, we should sue those penguins.
Sue
Can
the
we
penguins.
sue those penguins?
I don't think so because they're not citizens.
Mr. Popper's Penguins 2, sue the penguins.
Yeah.
I'd watch it. Anyway, so Zach's not around these days. God, it really does sound like he's dead. He's not dead.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Debatable.
It'll come, but not yet. So Cameron, would you like to give us the quick sum?
Sure. Yeah, so here's a quick summary. Also, a little bit of a historical context, because it is a historical movie. The Chicago 7, originally the Chicago 8, were 7 defendants: Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, David Dellinger, Tom Hayden, Rennie Davis, John Froines, and Lee Weiner. Charged by the United States federal government with conspiracy, crossing state lines with intent to incite a riot, and other charges related to anti-Vietnam War and countercultural protests in Chicago, Illinois during the 1968 Democratic National Convention. The Chicago 8 became the Chicago 7 after the case against co-defendant Bobby Seale was declared a mistrial during the trial. All of the defendants were charged with and acquitted of conspiracy. Hoffman, Rubin, Dellinger, Hayden, and Davis were charged with and convicted of crossing state lines with intent to incite a riot. Froines and Weiner were charged with teaching demonstrators how to construct incendiary devices and acquitted of those charges. All of the convictions were later reversed on appeal. So yeah, the movie follows
Very cool.
the Chicago 7 during the titular trial of the Chicago 7.
Yes, indeed. This is a good movie. I had heard a lot about it, but I'd never gotten around to it. Netflix is so funny because they'll make a movie that's like this that is just really good overall. Great story, great shooting, you know. There are some qualms that I have with it, but not a lot. And then they'll make like crappy Christmas movies. And it's just like who's writing these movies? I mean, I know it's different people, but I don't know.
I would agree.
Doesn't really make sense. Overall, I really did like this film though. Great cast. We got Jogo Levitt. We got Eddie Redmayne. I don't know who else is in this movie.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
Who I
That's
think
who that was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I recognized his face.
Who, and I'm gonna be honest. I think he might have been the best casting choice for the movie.
Yeah, like physically.
Physically and acting wise, they had said he was historically one of the most accurate portrayals of the characters. Interesting.
Well, he's famously good at like kind of going into character, right?
Yeah, with Borat, Dictator.
Right. Yeah, so he's really good. Everybody in this movie is very good though, especially like the main cast. Not that the other people are not.
Yeah, all of the acting was like powerful and genuine. It felt like it was like I was there, you know, like kind of.
Yeah, definitely. Eddie Redmayne, is he British?
Don't know off the top of my head.
The only thing I've ever seen him in before this was I know he's in The Theory of Everything. I'd never seen it though. Was Fantastic Beasts. So I just was like, he's not American. But I actually don't know that for sure. He might have been doing a British accent in that movie.
Yeah, he's British.
Yeah.
Wow, he does a pretty good American accent.
That was also, he was like a college student, right? He was playing an American college student.
Yes.
That was a solid performance. I was convinced that he was an American college student in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of brought me out of this movie at all was actually the costumes. A lot of it looked very fake, though I guess a lot of it probably was accurate to what clothes would have looked like back then, right?
Yep.
But there were some of the clothes that they were wearing just looked like dollar store recreations.
Are you talking about the yippies?
Yeah, a little bit, but not only them. The leather jackets that the Black Panthers were wearing were a little bit well, not a little bit. They were very, very fake, but they might have been, right? So I don't know that for sure. That was the only thing though that was a little bit attention grabbing to me in the wrong way. Overall, acting performances, very, very good. Oh, it's all good. I don't know what to say. So what's the move here? Do we want to kind of do a scene by scene ish?
So yeah, here's a little tough part about doing a scene by scene. I actually stopped taking notes about halfway through the movie because I was so encapsulated by the movie.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's very, very capturing.
Yeah, even though it's a 2-hour movie, it's still you're invested the whole time.
Yeah, I was saying this before we started recording that this movie is like a lot of times I'll see a 2-hour movie and it'll feel like a long 2-hour movie, or the 2 hours will go by like nothing. But this movie feels like a spot on 2 hours. It's like, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie that felt exactly like the length it was before, other than Justice League, but not in a good way.
That's fair.
Cool. All right. So Cameron, do you want to kind of start off from the beginning, and then we can kind of just see where it goes from there?
We start in this opening scene, and I'm going to be honest, this is probably my least favorite part of the movie, is this opening montage. Okay. Because I don't like the music that was used during it, because what you see is it's almost like a prelude to the actual events of the movie. So before the riot and the trial, it's sort of like, okay, here's all the characters, and we're introducing all these characters right at the start of the movie. Here's this fun, cheery music. Oh, okay, here's historical footage of cops beating people with sticks.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of like tonal difference.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that, because there is definitely like art in the tonal difference. Like, I understand why, because the music was, if I remember correctly, like from then, right? So that music did exist during all of these terrible things that were happening. So maybe that's a juxtaposition type beat, but I also know what you mean. That being said, I did think it was a great introduction for all of the characters. I thought it was a good way
I would agree.
to... Because there are a lot of them. There's a lot of characters in this cast just from the nature of the story, right? So you got to introduce them some way, and it can't be, minutes with each, because that would get boring. But
right.
I think they do it well.
I thought the best part of the opening was actually introducing the different mindsets of the people going to Chicago. So they touch upon the two college kids, which I believe it was Tom Hayden and then Rennie Davis. So Rennie Davis and Hayden, they're both college kids. They're part of like a Democratic Party at the college. So like they introduced their reasonings for going. And then Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin are part of the Yippies. They get their own thing for going. And they're like, oh, we want to have like they're kind of there for making like a music festival. And they touch upon it later in a pretty hilarious scene in the court. And then there's Bobby Seale, who is, I believe they said he's the co-founder, one of the co-founders of the Black Panther Party. And then to round them all off, you have David Dellinger, who's just like a hard pacifist left kind of guy.
A dad.
Yeah, a suburban leftist dad. Who's like, violence is not the answer, and then punches a cop, and is like, oh my god, my whole character.
Right. That was kind of crazy. This movie's, I almost said spoiler warning, but again, this is...
It happened.
It's real life. So
it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
Right. So among those characters, we also see, I don't have the names of the people, but there are two lawyers for the defendants and two lawyers on the prosecution side.
Yep.
We see the Black Panther Party is a pretty big player in this. Trying to think if there are any other big characters.
Well, there's
it's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is the previous Attorney General.
That was kind of crazy when Michael Keaton showed up. I was like, "Yo, Michael Keaton's in this." I feel like every movie I see, I'm like, "Yo, Michael Keaton's in this."
He gets better with every movie.
Michael Keaton's just I feel like he's just in every movie these days.
It's fair.
Good for him.
So yeah, the historical context. Michael Keaton was the original Attorney General. He had investigated, actually, you find out later in the movie, he had investigated all the Chicago 7, and he was like, oh, there's no evidence that they were planning to incite violence or whatever. So then he resigns from his position. So then this other guy steps up, and then he hires Jogo Levitt. And he is tasked with charging these guys with crossing state borders to incite a riot, which and he actually says it in the movie too. He says, this is like, there's no way, no one's ever really been charged with this. And the Attorney General's like, yeah, that's why it's going to be such a great deal, a big deal when you do it. So he wants to try and charge these guys. And I forget what happened.
I can't remember exactly what the charge they were trying was, because...
Well, the charge was inciting a riot.
Right.
Because the previous Attorney General was like, it's the cops. And then this Attorney General's like, it was the protesters that started the riot.
Right. Yeah, because this movie takes place, obviously, during the actual time that the trial took place, which, sidebar, was, what did it say, 100 and something days? 168 days?
It was 168 days, I think.
Right, yeah.
That is insane. That is so long. I mean, that's a good quarter of the year. Half a year.
And you saw them go through, like, there was like a Christmas scene, too. Like, it goes through the full year.
It's insane. But the beginning of the trial and kind of the riot happens right before the presidential transfer of power. And so I think a lot of the things that we're going to be talking in this movie talking about with this movie are just things that are like real, true to life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this movie is true to life, but the trial kind of takes place. They talk about how a lot of it seems to just be kind of sticking it to the old cabinet, right? And that the trial is only happening not because of really the people that are being on trial, but because the new cabinet wants to kind of stick it to the old one, which is, there are a lot of moments in this movie that are kind of just like infuriating to watch, and that one is up there, I think.
So
it's not the most infuriating though.
Are you talking about specifically? I have a question. Are you talking about the judge? The
judge, yeah.
He was actually much worse in real life.
That's crazy. Like how so?
So they had captured. They had said he was one of the more historically accurate portrayals in the movie. Okay. But they had said he was. I don't know specifically how, but he was supposedly worse in real life.
That's
so insane. In the movie,
because in this movie he's infuriating with every single word.
He has no idea what he's saying half the time because he keeps getting the one guy's name wrong. So the main judge for this whole trial is Judge Hoffman, Julius Hoffman. He goes out of his way to make it that the defense has no way of actually participating in the trial. So it's actually very famously. One of the members of the Chicago 7, or the Chicago 8 technically, is Bobby Seale, co-founder of the Black Panther Party. Obviously, he is African-American.
And the only African-American member of the trial.
Oh, yes, of the trial. His lawyer actually had a medical emergency. So they had asked them to postpone the trial so Bobby could be...
represented by
represented by his lawyer. The judge said no, he will not be represented by that lawyer. Multiple times throughout the movie, the judge says the other guy, what's his name, Kunstler, yeah. So his lawyer, or the lawyer for the actual 7, excluding Bobby Seale, Mr. Kunstler. Mm-hmm. The judge keeps asking Mr. K, as he will be known from now on,
to just. But that's fine.
No, it's a K.
I thought it was a C.
It's a K.
The character you're talking about, the character played by Bill Murray, yeah?
No, Bill Murray does not play this character.
What? Who are you talking about?
It's Mark Rylance. He's the lawyer for the defense.
Okay, sorry. What is the character you're talking about then?
The lawyer, William Kunstler. The lawyer for the defense of the Chicago 7.
Okay.
I don't think Bill Murray is in this movie.
Who? Wait, I thought that was Bill Murray the whole time.
No, it's not Bill Murray. Why would you think it's Bill Murray?
He looks just like Bill Murray. Oh, no. Okay, well, okay.
Wait, you actually
it looks like Bill Murray.
Are you Googling it right now? Is Bill Murray in this movie?
Well, I didn't look up is Bill Murray in this movie. I looked up the cast, okay?
But Bill Murray, it's literally, his character is the third person in, not Bill Murray. Anyways, the judge keeps asking Mr. K to represent Bobby, and Bobby's like, no, I have a lawyer, but I'm already represented. And the judge was like, oh, so why isn't he here? And he said, because he's in the hospital and you wouldn't push the trial back. That's about half the movie. And then it gets to a point where, so Bobby keeps trying to cross-examine the witness, which I don't know legally if you can do, but I'd imagine you can if your lawyer isn't present. Considering the circumstances, I'd imagine he was allowed to do that. So he was trying to cross-examine the witness every time his name was used in the testimony. It actually got to a point, and this part is historically accurate. Judge Hoffman gagged Bobby Seale in the courtroom.
Ridiculous. I can't, God, it's sickening to watch, and to think about the fact that this just, happens. Well, and I think the worst part about it is that there are a lot of things that we know through, history classes, right? Especially about, civil rights and racism. And it's hard to really put that to, make that actually a thing until you're seeing it in a movie, right? Where it feels much more real than a story, you know? And so it's just,
Right.
it's sickening to look at. I don't know. It's hard. And obviously, no, I don't know. It's just really, it's hard to look at.
Yeah, but that part was, also he was the only one because he was also facing charges, I believe they said in Massachusetts, for the supposed murder of a police officer, which he did not commit.
I think it was Georgia, but I could be wrong.
Was it Georgia? It was some other state. So, of course, he is the only character that has walked into the courtroom in chains.
Right.
So it's pretty disheartening to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of this. That's, I think, the most interesting thing about historical movies like these that are based almost entirely on fact is the reality of it. Because obviously they're not going to be told if they're not interesting stories, but stuff like this is, you see it and it's real, and it's hard to really think about that, but it really is. It's really real. So I can't believe that judge existed as a person and was fairly, was a judge and people would let him be. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Seriously.
At the end of the movie, it was actually cool. They did what happened after the trial.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw it, but they had said 87% of lawyers in Chicago said that judge was unfit to be a lawyer or unfit to be a judge.
The judge, yeah. Yeah. Which, it's crazy.
Yeah, pretty disgusting.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of, scene work to talk about in this movie because a good majority of it is just the courtroom.
Yep.
Obviously, right? However, the acting in the courtroom, I think, is what stops it from being stagnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's kind of the breakdown of a lot of different people, but I think the most interesting breakdown to me was the character who I thought was Bill Murray. Kunstler?
Mr. K, we'll call him. Yeah. I call
Mr.
him.
K.
I'm now calling him Mr. K.
Okay. So his, starting at the beginning, he is, right, the lawyer for the defense, and he's trying hard. What's that?
Yes, I'm just saying yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said no. I was like, oh, really? Because, I'm just relying this off of the knowledge that I learned from the movie and a little bit more past that. But he's the lawyer for the defense, and he cares. I don't know how he knows them or if he's just kind of appointed. But throughout, he kind of starts breaking down as the judge keeps doing things like talking about how he should just represent Bobby Seale, right? Mm-hmm. Or not letting certain things like Michael Keaton's character, not letting the jury see his
testimony.
Yeah, his testimony his testimony that, what was it? That
the cops were the ones that started the riot, and
right.
The Michael Keaton
and
Michael Keaton was like, there's no evidence to suggest that they're guilty.
Right, and kind of the psychotic breakdown of that character, Mr. K, was very interesting to me. I liked that the most, I think, character-wise. Blake, did you have a particularly, was there a character that stood out to you in any way?
Would it be bad if I said just all of them?
No. They all are very good.
Yeah,
so.
no. I mean, all of them, there were different things that they said like that. I don't know. No, there wasn't one character for me because it was all... Mm-hmm. It just felt so genuine. That's just the word that comes to mind. Yeah. No, definitely. You're definitely right about that. I think that every single one of these actors did an incredible job, and I don't know what this movie's nominated for. I don't know if it's Cameron, do you know?
I had looked it up the other day.
Okay. But it's a lot, and I think that very rightfully so, because there are a lot of incredible acting performances in this. I think that without all these great actors, this movie would have been very stagnant, because a lot of it is not outside of the courtroom. We see the riot a little bit. We see pre-riot. We see
in between the days of court.
Right, a little bit, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But other than that, a good majority of the film is in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if you described that to me, I would probably think that it would be boring, but it really isn't. And I think that they did an incredible job with that.
So, Trial of Chicago 7 is nominated for Best Picture. Okay. Sacha Baron Cohen is nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Okay.
Then it's Best Original Screenplay, Best Film Editing, and Best Cinematography.
Okay. Who was if he was the Best Supporting Actor, who was the main actor in this?
I don't know.
Eddie Redmayne?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't. There maybe just isn't one. I feel like it's kind of all of them, but I don't know why you would nominate.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, you could make the argument for Eddie Redmayne because I would say him and Cohen had like almost equal amounts of screen time. They're both pretty important because they have that's like their whole characters that they think they're on opposite sides, but they're really on the same side.
Right. Yeah, which is another very interesting character beat. Is the end of this movie kind of sees Eddie Redmayne's character Haynes, giving up
Hayden,
the chance to speak at speak for testimony as the only one for the 7 of them left, and letting Abby do it because he kind of realizes that Abby's not just a hippie, right? He's kind of he's very smart too.
He's a yippie. And he's not a hippie. Yeah. He's a yippie.
Oh, sorry. What's the difference, Cameron?
Yippie is actually a term to describe a political group. Okay. If I remember correctly. So it's a member of a radical establishment group founded in 1967 and favoring theatrical gestures and stunts.
Okay.
It's the Youth International Party. Their flag
all right.
It's a black flag with a red star in the middle and a marijuana leaf.
Very cool. So,
Sick.
is it kind of like
it's if hippies were political,
right? So it's like okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're not exactly exclusive.
You could join the party, and you could be,
as a hippie.
Yeah, and you'd be known as a yippie. The group, you're known as a yippie in the group.
Right, like in the way you could be like Democrat, right?
Yeah. It's just it's a political party. Yeah.
Okay. You could be a hippie yippie, is what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Could be. Could be. That'd be kind of interesting. I feel like that's quite a way to live. Maybe not, though, because I guess you said that it's like radical social movement and isn't... Well, I guess hippies kind of...
Hippies are not the modern... They're not politically involved.
Right.
Yippies are. That's... Actually, I should have said that. That's the main difference. Yippies are politically active.
All right. But it's similar, like, character types?
Yeah. Long hair... Weed, drugs, sex, rock and roll.
Nice.
Except the only difference is they like politics.
Seem like cool guys.
Yeah, I'd like to join the Yippies.
That's how I'm trying to be. They still exist?
Do they? I doubt it.
Well, I'm sure the people do because it was in the what is the year of this happening?
1969. The convention is 68. The trial is 69, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so they're still alive, but
but does the party exist? Do the Yippies still exist?
Abby doesn't. Abby is not alive.
It's true. Actually, two of them. Actually, both of them were dead. I think
Abby and what was the other one?
It was Abby and Jerry Rubin. One of them killed themselves. The other one,
Abby did.
The other one was hit by a car jaywalking.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was if the other one was Rubin or if it was just another one of the cast.
Right.
Or one of the Chicago 7 was
killed
jaywalking.
Yeah.
Dang.
What a way to go out. That'd be sad, I think.
I think Abby had written a book too.
Yeah, it was like Steal This Book.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It's so funny. I don't really know a lot about this time period. I mean, I guess there's the Vietnam War, right? But I don't know a lot about the Vietnam War. We're not really taught that much about the Vietnam War other than it happened and there were people that didn't like it.
It's because America doesn't want you to know about it. But they don't really, they don't like talking about it.
Right. So it's so interesting to see stuff like this because it's hard to get information. Like you need to actively search information to get any information about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
In that era. I feel like when you're learning about the 60s, everybody's just like, oh, the Beatles, you know? But that's very much not what it was. So I'm always happy to watch movies like this because, like earlier, I mentioned the Judas and the Black Messiah, which is kind of the story of one of the points in this movie, but it's the story of Fred Hampton, who is assassinated in his home, right? And that plays a big role in Bobby Seale's story in this movie. But these movies pair very well together. It's like wine wine and cheese.
I believe that part was dramatized.
Was it?
He didn't know. It was something where I think the timing of the killing was different in the movie.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. Obviously, it happened. But it was some dramatization that happened in the movie to some extent.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, and you're going to get some of that, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it still is really interesting. I'm happy to... What I was saying, though, is that I'm very happy to watch movies like this from this era because I really don't know a lot about it, and I like learning more about it because it's such an interesting kind of hidden piece of time, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't feel super educated about a lot of this.
No.
So being able to watch this and, putting it into, a movie, it makes it easier for me to, learn about this stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, Cam said a lot of it was historically accurate, so that's always a plus, too.
Right. Yeah, and I'm glad that they're starting to make movies like these that are... I mean, they've always made historical dramas, right? But I feel like they're starting to do more and more historical dramas that are, real, big cast people, very well written, very well produced and shot, and they're very interesting to watch, and I'm much more willing to watch them, than some of the older stuff that was just also made,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I'm happy that that's a trend that is happening. I'm trying to think if there are any more around this, this Oscar season. I know there was Judas and the Black Messiah, and I know there was Trial of the Chicago 7. I feel like there was at least one more, but I can't think.
I think I probably just haven't paying attention much. The last movie that comes to mind, what was it? Hidden Figures, right? It was
Hidden Figures. Yeah, that one's
I know that was
about the NASA, the NASA women.
The NASA,
NASA.
The NASA women.
That one's not this.
Yeah, I know it's not this season.
Period, though. Yeah. Let me look.
Around what it would be? Say around this time, right? Why do I feel like it was 63, 64?
No, sorry. I meant the release of that movie.
Oh yeah,
was
no. Yeah,
that was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking Best Picture nominees, significantly less of them this year. So Judas the Black Messiah, Trial of the Chicago 7. I haven't watched Mank. I know that that's about the making of what's it called? Oh my God, the movie.
What?
The movie, the first movie, basically the big one. What's it
Man
called?
on the Moon?
My God, no.
I really can't help you.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so disappointed. Citizen Kane.
That's not the first movie ever made.
I didn't say it was the first movie ever made. I said the first big movie.
Oh,
it's
kind of about the screenwriter and his development of Citizen Kane. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah, you had said it's like it's the
so I
movie.
Can't say for sure.
It's like the first one. What?
I didn't say it was the first movie. I was saying it was the first big movie because it is. Can't say I'm wrong. It's the first big movie, right, Blake?
Right.
That's right. I know. I need to get some of Zach's action in here while he's dead or on the moon. Blake, how do you feel?
That's stop. It's freaking being called on when your hand's not raised in class.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is. It's just us calling on you.
That's right.
It's a very educational podcast, ain't it?
Truly, actually.
Yeah, I learned some things. You learned some things. Cameron knows most of the things.
I am learning things.
Yeah.
I would like to point out there actually is a pretty big scene we can talk about. It's kind of So one of the really cool aspects of this movie, which again is this aspect is historically accurate. Cohen's character Hoffman, Abby Hoffman, on the weekends performs stand-up comedy to make money for the yippies, to make money for the party. What he does is he actually tells it's a good way of giving the audience exposition without actually giving the audience exposition, because he's telling a story to people. Well. And you see that. It's not like this guy sitting in front of you saying, okay, this is happening now. Throughout the movie, there are scenes where Hoffman is talking about oh, this happened, yada, yada, yada. Probably the best part of the best use of this is he talks about the riot that gets all of them in trouble. Mm-hmm. And so they're these people are going to the convention, and the whole time
the Democratic National
Convention,
just for anybody who doesn't know.
Yes. So they're trying to pick the Democratic person for presidential candidate.
Nominee.
Yeah, that. So on their way there, you get their point of view, which is all of them are trying to tell them to keep calm. Then you have people who were undercover that were sent there by the police.
A lot of them.
Giving their testimonies and saying that, they were, they turned onto Fifth Street, yada, yada, yada. And it was cool because it was, like one of the undercover cops would go and then it would cut to Hoffman giving his version of the speech, and it was like the same thing. And they're like, we all turned onto Fifth Street. They turned onto Fifth Street.
Mm-hmm.
So they're met by, for all intents and purposes, an army. They are met with about 500 armed police officers.
Right.
So then they go to turn around. They make it back to the park where the other half of the police force is on top of the hill waiting for them. And the one thing you never do when you have a group that's trying to protest is you kick them out of where they are staying, because then they get angry. Because now they don't know where to go.
That's a big thing throughout this film, is that line.
And I don't know if they ever said who it was, but they show a guy and he says, let's take the hill. Mm-hmm. We never really know what side he's on. I'm going to assume he was part of the police force, because most of the protesting group, they were peaceful, but they were getting riled up. And then you get this brutal scene where they're rushing up the hill. They're met at the middle of the hill with the police officers, and it does this fantastic job of using footage from the movie and then cutting to black and white footage from the actual event that people were recording. And I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, they did a good job. I actually wasn't sure if they were going to do anything of the riot at all, because that's in the middle to late end of the film is the riot. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of starting to think that they were just going to not include it, which I didn't think that they needed to, but I was happy to see it. I liked it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, the part I'm talking about... part I'm talking about is about an hour in.
Is it an hour in? Yeah, well, that's halfway.
You're right, halfway, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not at the beginning where you might think that something like that would be. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's an interesting film. It takes a lot of things and does them very differently than you might think, because it's a long movie, but it doesn't really move anywhere, Because a lot of long movies, like Justice League is one, Mission Impossible movies, it'll always take forever. They're moving a lot, right? Like, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of different settings and places. This movie doesn't really have that. Most of it's in the courtroom or just outside of the courtroom. But it's never boring, I thought. Mm-hmm. There was never a part in this movie that I was bored of. I was always very intently watching. Yeah,
as a person, I've struggled watching a lot of the movies that we've watched so far, but this one I was pretty invested. Like, it was pretty solid. Like,
I'm happy to be doing good movies.
Yeah. It's a nice welcome pace from not doing a blockbuster or a kids movie.
Right.
It's an actual adult movie with adult films. Not adult films.
I don't know if that's the best way to put that.
Adult themes, I meant to say.
Adult.
Oh, man.
Let's watch some.
Nah, I'm good. I'll take a pass.
I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and we've said it a ton of times.
Don't listen to that one, Mom.
Yeah, Mom, don't listen to this episode. All right.
No, not this episode. The next one I was talking about.
The next one. Don't. Sick 2, Mom. Electric Boogaloo. So yeah, and and with every historical adaptation, every historical movie that's an adaptation of an event, there is bound to be dramatizations of stuff that happened or things that actually never happened. They made it up for the purpose of the movie.
Right. To give it some more like moving factor.
The first instance you see is actually during the riot, which is about halfway in. Jerry Rubin so throughout the riot, there you see this girl that's on top of presumably either her boyfriend or her friend or some dude's shoulders, and she's waving an American flag. Mm. And she's being harassed by these like douchebags who are like
frat boys.
Yeah, they're like, go back to the kitchen, whatever.
Yeah, they're frat members.
At the At the riot, they tear her down off of the guy's shoulders and attempt to rape her. So Ruben gets it.
At that moment, my stomach dropped. It was rough.
That never happened.
Oh, that's not real?
That didn't happen.
Oh, still.
But yeah, in the purposes of the movie, it seemed like it definitely could have happened.
It could have happened.
Oh, absolutely. Another instance is throughout the movie, I believe it's Rennie Davis. You see he writes in his book the names of the American soldiers who are being killed in Vietnam, and he gives their name, their rank, and I believe their age. Yes. That never happened. Or he did, but they never read it at the end of the trial.
I was going to ask if that is how it actually ended.
The movie? No, they were denied that. That never happened. That was set up for the purposes of the movie because it was this whole payoff.
Right. I was at the end, like at that part of the movie, it was so interesting because everybody was like clapping and cheering, right, for him reading the names. But he only got like 15 in. Like, not like they're going to keep clapping and cheering for the next 5,000, right? You know?
No.
Eventually, it'll die down.
There were some parts that they didn't include in the movie. I forget if it was Jerry Rubin or Abby Hoffman. It was one of them. One of them performed a headstand on top of the defense table.
Whoa, that's impressive.
During the trial, that just happened.
Just for fun?
Yeah. They did show up to the trial wearing the robes.
Oh, the judge.
The judge robes. That actually did happen.
That's
because they were all like super theatrical.
Right, because that was their whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah, because they wanted to make it. There's a really cool theme where they're like, it's a political trial, and they're like, there's no such thing as a political trial. At the end of the movie, you find out there is a political trial, and that's what this was.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Trying to think of what else. They underneath the robes. Yeah, they actually did have police uniforms underneath their robes, like they did in the movie.
Right.
He told the judge his actions were ashanda fudi goyim. Suggested the judge would have to cut his tongue out to get him to be quiet, and at one point did a headstand on the defense table. So that was Hoffman that did that.
Gotcha.
So Hoffman is the one that did the headstand.
Right, because throughout we're seeing him do some like outlandish stuff, but that I wasn't sure what was real and what was not, because it doesn't really say how much of it was real, right? Yeah. Like it honestly doesn't even ever say like inspired by a true story or true story, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it is because everybody knows about the trial, but
in the movie for Jerry Rubin, they actually make him more of a bumbler than he was in real life. The undercover cop who he has a love interest with, she didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
That's that
sad.
Whole thing. He was instead trailed by an undercover police officer named Robert Pearson, who testified at the trial. So that part is true. There was an undercover cop that tailed him, but it was not a female that gained his romantic interests.
Gotcha.
There's
a lot of interesting things in this movie.
Yeah.
That I'm glad to hear the things that you're saying are fake and are real. Just because I was curious, not for any other reason other than that, but it's really interesting.
Hoffman was the one that killed himself, and Rubin was hit by a car.
Okay, so it was
he was hit by a car jaywalking. When he died in 1994 after being hit by a car, he was working for a multi-level marketing company called Life Extension International, pitching a health drink called Wow.
Imagine being one of the members of the Chicago 7, and then the last days of your life you're selling for a multi-level marketing scheme.
Especially it being a yippie.
That's rough, right?
Oof, yeah.
But anyway, buy my new product. I don't know, what's something they sell? Slimming coffee. That's a big one.
Yeah, sure.
Jewelry. How would you guys feel if I joined one of those?
It'd be weird.
Be my own
I'd
boss.
support you unconditionally.
I would support you
nice.
to an extent. As
So
long
you're
as
telling me you wouldn't buy all of my products?
no. As long as you're happy, you're safe, and you're healthy, that's great.
That was a really nice
Thanks,
answer.
Mom.
I was going to say, you guys gave me a really nice answer for a really dumb question.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We all need a little positivity around these times.
Don't know how many of the other guys, part of the Chicago 7, are still alive. I know, well, what's his face? Hayden died in 2016.
Oh, really?
He was
Most
part
of them are probably not that.
What did he say?
Old. They shouldn't be that old, right? Because they were pretty young, and it was the late or the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm. Or late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, he married and then served in the California legislature. He died in 2016.
Right.
So when Tim Hayden uses his allocation statement to read the names of the Americans who died, yeah, it never happened. They did attempt to observe the moratorium to end the war in Vietnam by reading the names of some of the war dead from both sides, but it seems to have been David Dellinger actually reading the names. David Dellinger is the dad. Abby Hoffman got into a tug of war with a marshal trying to confiscate the North Vietnamese flag he'd brought. Hayden gave 2 allocation statements during the trial, one for the initial charges and one for the contempt charges Hoffman brought, and used both to give speeches but didn't speak about the war dead.
I have an article here of everything that happened to all of them if you want me to read that.
Is it on Slate.com?
What's that?
Is it on Slate.com?
No, it's Refinery 29.
Oh, okay.
Don't know how accurate this is. But do you want me to read that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm curious to see if it's any different than this website.
Right. Well, it was just some of the different characters. I didn't know if you had just one person.
Yeah, it's all of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. But anyway, this one here says that Rennie Davis actually became friends with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Which
That's pretty good.
It's pretty cool. I don't know how true this is. This doesn't seem to be a very relatable or reliable source, but it could be. So he did a lot of stuff like that. Tom Hayden, he became a lawyer, author, professor, politician.
Yep.
Yeah, died in 2016 to heart issues, and then a bunch of stuff you've already said, so I don't need to repeat.
Oh, for the Rennie Davis, he just didn't even keep the journal, apparently. Yeah. That's just not true.
Oh, interesting.
That was just a whole part of to set up for Hayden's big scene.
Right, which also didn't happen?
Yes, correct.
Huh.
So that whole
That's a
thing
weird
was in
detail
there
to make up.
scene. Yeah, and,
guess so.
Dramatization.
Yeah, no.
What was accurate about Davis's character was that he got his skull bashed in by the police. That did happen.
That's
what they didn't show was that while he was hospitalized, he had to be smuggled around the hospital so the police couldn't find him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. That would probably not feel good. Is there anything else to say? I mean, this movie is very good.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say. There's not a whole lot more to say because it's a lot of historical, right, like things that happened in real life, and there's not a whole lot that does happen in it, even though it's a 2-hour movie. It's kind of just the effects and the play out of the trial, right? Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know that there's anything more to say unless either of you have anything else to say.
I don't.
No, I mean, I'm gonna be. This is probably my favorite movie that I've watched so far. Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing I loved about it is it's really tough, at least the way I find it tough for historical adaptations to have any real sense of tension. Because, like, you know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Like, if it, like, Lincoln, I like the movie Lincoln. I know how it's going to end.
Right, exactly.
Like, well, why am I getting all these characters?
How does it end, though?
He gets Millie rocked by John Wilkes Booth.
Our boy John Booth.
Johnny Booth.
Johnny Booth.
No.
Everybody's favorite actor.
JB. He is an actor.
That's right.
This is true.
Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber killed the president.
I thought this movie had a great amount of tension.
I thought so too.
I was like, I felt it when, oh my god, they have the former attorney general, and his testimony is going to blow apart the prosecutors, and they're all going to get away. And then the judge said no.
Right.
He's like, wait, you're not going to let him give his testimony? No. But like, it's the whole point of the case. Well, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
Very cool.
Is it rating time?
Yeah, I think it's rating time.
I believe it's rating time.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Blake, what do we got?
I'm giving it an 8.3.
Whoa, 8.3.
Yeah, and that's a lot because I'm a girl who likes Disney movies. And yeah.
Right,
this is one of the first, like... Yeah, this is one of the first, like... I'm doing, like, air quotes. Like, I get... Not even air quotes. So, yeah, first, like, historical movie that, like, I actually was invested in, like... I knew what was going on the whole time, too.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I wasn't just, like, dozing off and being bored. And I was invested, and it was good. It was a good movie.
Yeah. Hey, it really was. I'll go next out of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give this movie a 9, honestly. There are not a lot of... I would not say that I've seen many better movies than this. I'm sure I've seen a couple, but not many. It's a great movie. It's got great emotional beats. It's got great comedic beats. It doesn't go too heavy either way. Overall, just very good. I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Whoa, 9.5, baby.
Dang, look at this.
Compared to the past movies, this is arguably the best movie we have watched thus far. Without question.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Lorax.
Better than the Lorax.
It is objectively better than the Lorax.
More historically accurate.
It has
I don't know.
amazing themes.
Right.
I actually was using the movie quite a bit for some of my college courses, talking to my history professor about it, and we had a great discussion on whether or not America has really changed a whole lot since this trial. I would argue not that much.
Yeah, I would also argue that.
But that's not the type of podcast that we are.
Not yet.
Not yet. First, we have to get past our adult movie phase.
That's right.
Then we go into politics.
Yeah. It's the whole thing. Mom, don't listen for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, don't. I love a lot of the jokes. Actually, really stuck for me, and they were spread throughout the movie enough that it didn't seem like it was trying to be overly funny. But it was.
It's not trying to be a comedy.
Yeah, it was good. Like the jokes always landed when they wanted to. Whenever there was a joke, it went very well.
Right, and it didn't feel like they were just writing jokes to write jokes. Like it felt like
they were in character jokes. Like I would believe that while they're discussing the trial, Abby would totally say random stuff. Or like his conversations with the other Yippee, those were some of the best jokes throughout the movie. Those guys were hilarious. But also, Cohen is a hilarious actor. But yeah, I'll give this bad boy a 9.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we ask Zach, even though he's not here, to give an unofficial rating? What would he rate it, despite him not voicing his opinion?
I was just going to average our scores.
Average it?
Have that be his. Yeah, which is 8.9. I know that's not really a particularly official way to do it, because
if we do that, it'll be our lowest scoring movie.
That doesn't make sense. What?
Well, so we average.
You guys are averaging them differently.
What was the average?
You average our 3 scores and then add that to our 3 scores. You add 8.9 is what I'm saying. For Zach's score would be an 8.9.
8.9. Okay.
It's like, what? How is that our lowest scoring movie?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense at all.
Okay, 35.7 out of 40.
Whoa, 35.7. Is that higher than the Lorax?
That is higher than the Lorax. Lorax was
God bless, honestly.
Woo! Attaboy.
Yeah.
Held the title for a week.
I know, that's crazy. Look at that.
Wait, are we spinning the wheel?
We got to spin that wheel.
Oh boy.
Oh my God,
Pull that bad boy up.
Man, really hope that we do not get Hardcore Henry again.
I took it all.
And we can't say no to animated movies
No,
this time.
guys, we're watching the other version of Hardcore Henry next week.
Softcore
right.
Henry.
Oh my god. I hate you all.
Hardcore Henry and his brother, Softcore Jeff.
Jeff.
Let's pull up this wheel. Let's see what we got.
Pull up that wheel. Pull up that little tiny little spinny wheel.
Wheel. There it is.
Spin the wheel.
Wheel. Okay.
The wheel. All right, here we go.
Okay,
So exciting.
Can I give a little drum roll, please?
I'm kind of nervous, not gonna lie.
Me too, a little bit.
Clicking the spin button. It's my volume's up. That's gonna be really loud.
Ooh.
Right? It's lagging, slowly spinning.
Good.
It's not. Wait, there it is. It's picking
I'm
up speed. Here we
nervous.
go. All right.
Oh,
It's
I know. I'm so
going.
nervous. There's no reason for me to be.
Here we go. All right. Oh, it's lagging a little bit at the end. Okay. Oh.
Oh.
I'm waiting to hear if he laughs or not.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. What is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week as the S.I.C.K podcast covers The Last Airbender.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So
Oh, that'll be fun. That's gonna be a fun episode.
That's for
it's
sure.
gonna be so bad.
Oh my god. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I'm so excited to watch it
aren't
again.
really familiar.
I actually haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
There's a very popular animated kid show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's one of the a personal favorite of, I believe, Edison and I.
Yeah, and Zach too.
And Zach as well. I think it's one of
have you
the
seen it?
greatest animated TV shows of all time. Great for all
Absolutely
ages.
one of, if not
Great for all ages because it covers every type of theme. So
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan decided, I'm going to make a movie out of this TV show. Now, the issue with doing that is Avatar: The Last Airbender's 3 seasons. M. Night Shyamalan takes, I believe it's, he takes the first season and kind of the second season and puts it into one movie, but doesn't do it very well.
Not at all.
It's known for terrible CGI. Probably the worst CGI in movies. Some of the worst acting possible. And all around a disgrace to anything anyone would consider a film. It's a disgrace to movies.
So join us next week for a fun topic, a fun discussion about that old movie. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. Well, is that it, man?
Yeah. We
think
gave
so.
our
I think
rating,
so.
spun the wheel.
We did. We spun the wheel and we got Avatar. Man, that's exciting. I want to watch that movie. It's been so long.
Oh, God.
Well, thank you all for listening to the end of this podcast. If you're here, follow us on your streaming service of choice, your podcast service of choice, or give us subscribe on YouTube if you're listening on YouTube, and give us a little like. Gets us out there. We would appreciate it. So again, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and also this weekend, maybe the next week, will be our series wrap up of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, episodes 4 and 5.
Episode.
5 and 6.
So we'll
Sorry,
get
5
that
and
done.
6. Yeah, that'll be on
5 and 6, and kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, that's exciting. Anything else?
No.
I don't think so. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.